If you ever come across a Roblox game called Where You Sleep, do not play it. If you try to search up the game yourself, you'll get nothing but an error page. Something tells me that I was not supposed to come across this game, and after what I saw, I'm convinced this was someone's confession of a gruesome crime. It was free too, so I thought I found the perfect game to play to kill some time. The game had 14,000 players and positive reviews, so with a cup of coffee, I finally launched it. I clicked New Game, and I was ready for some action. At first, it came out exactly as expected, just like your typical Roblox horror game, except I didn't see another soul in sight. Maybe it was a single-player game. My character was standing in a dark room, and there was a single door in the distance, illuminated by a dim light bulb on top of it. I was prepared for any jump scares the dev was about to throw at me on this short path. They always do that. But to my surprise, this game didn't have any. I was starting to think the player count was a visual glitch. I walked to the door and opened it to reveal a dimly lit apartment. I was expecting a jump scare here, but nothing happened. No scary music, no scary noises, nothing. I reached for the light switch inside and turned it on. The hall illuminated, and I instantly got surprised, not realizing why. Seconds later, I realized why. The room looked quite similar to mine. The bed, the TV, and most of the other furniture were arranged in the same manner. It was quite strange, especially in a game called Where You Sleep, but I just stupidly brushed it off. I spent a couple more minutes checking out the room to discover some more surprising coincidences, and went to explore the kitchen. I was not really amused by the lacking amount of horror, but I was quite interested in the design decisions. The kitchen was also quite like mine. The table had 2 chairs by it, just like mine. The sink was by the window, and the fridge was quite similar too, except mine was a bit bigger and black, and the game one was green. Then something caught my attention that made my jaw drop. There was a cereal box on the table, a plate with a piece of bread, and a half-finished glass of milk. That was too much of a coincidence. I blinked a couple of times, and even bothered to stand up from the screen and double-check my own kitchen. You guessed it, the very same items were aligned on my real-world breakfast spot. This was getting a bit weird and a bit unnerving, to be honest. It became even more suspicious when I navigated the character to the bathroom, as other similarities popped up. There was a single t-shirt in the washing machine, and the bathrobe was lying on the floor. It was the same as mine, and there was also no toilet paper when I used my last roll this morning. What the hell is this game? Is it like watching me or something? And just for the record, I don't have a webcam or anything that could capture the insides of my apartment. That's so effing creepy. Am I being watched? But why and who would install the cameras? To create a crappy indie game? No way, I thought. Since there was not much else to see in the game, I shut it down and checked my apartment for any traces of the intrusion. I'm not James Bond, but I did my best to look around for hidden devices and found none. It was getting late, so I decided to go to sleep. After waking up, I had mostly forgotten about the game. That was until I came back from the supermarket, and my computer showed that a new update to Where You Sleep was downloaded. I launched it out of curiosity, and when I saw what the update added, my blood ran cold. The patch added more details to the surroundings. Now it looked exactly like my place. Even the bowl I used for keeping keys at the door looked identical, and had the same dent. I could read the book titles on the shelves, the same as mine, and the fridge in the kitchen was now bigger and colored black. There was no explanation. I went to the game discussion forums. There were a couple of messages from players stating the devs are lazy with updates and how the whole thing sucked. I dropped my own comment saying, "Devs, what the F is going on?" And I described my experience with the game. Several hours later, I checked